Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the great northern state of Queensland. We are in sunny Brisbane once again for Game 2 of the All-Australian Inclusion team as part of the Innis Global Games. I'm Tim Neal, the Disability Inclusion Manager at the AFL, and again with me is Scott Nicholas from AFL Victoria, the Disability Programs Manager. Scott, welcome again.
Good afternoon, Tim. It's fantastic to be here at Yeronga Oval for our second exhibition match here at the Global Games, and we had a fantastic match yesterday. It was free-flowing and really exciting football, and it was the Kangaroos, the white team that we see in front of us now, who were victorious over the navy blue Emus. The score being 6-7-43 to the Kangaroos to 5-5-35 for the Emus. And Tim, for a spectacle or an exhibition of the game of AFL, it was a pretty good match, wasn't it?
It really was. It showcased the high talent that is in Australian football for our players, and they didn't let us down. I think calling that game, the run off half back was probably the dominating aspect of that game, with Sean Dole from the Kangaroos and Mayo from the Emus showing their class down there and really setting up the link-up play between half-back and full forward. I think Alford finished with, I think it was a lazy 3 goals, and then we had Damo Clark with 3 also. Sorry, Dave Alford with 2 yesterday. But yeah, eager to see if there's any position changes today. But we called it during the game yesterday that, you know, it was a bit of a friendly, but there was a bit of banter between the 2 coaches. And when we got back to the accommodation again last night, excuse me, there was definitely the banter kicked back up. I think Nick really does want to get a win. I don't think he wants to leave with 0-2.
No, that's right. The Northern Territory coach from the National Inclusion Carnival, Nick Eads, he's in charge of the Emu squad, and the Vic Country coach, Steve Reeves, leading the way for the Kangaroos. And as you said, Tim, what started as a pretty friendly match yesterday turned really competitive pretty quickly, and not only from the players but the coaches. The banter quietened down and it got a little bit more serious with a bit more finger pointing and directions, and even the runners as well, with a bit of talk about who was the better squad. But at the end of the day, this is about showcasing the game of AFL and showcasing the ability of these athletes who are at the elite level for footballers with an intellectual disability in Australia.
And it looks like we just see there that the Kangaroos won the toss there and will kick to the left of screen. So again, we have a similar sort of breeze that we had yesterday, coming and going. Probably not as heavy as it was yesterday, but coming across the ground towards the broadcast side. So looks like Stephen Reeves has decided that he might. I think he's probably going to kick. In terms of, you know, I think that's the wind, that's the side you want.
And I think, you know, ultimately we talked about what we want to see from this game, and we saw a couple of big marks yesterday. We saw some fantastic run, and we saw some amazing skill as well. And, you know, we enjoyed our time in the commentary box yesterday. There was a few woos and a few yeehaws from yourself, Tim. And
I think a few puns intended with food, but let's see what we can bring to the table today.
And as we go through the 2 squads now, as we said, players represented from across the country, from our southern states to the Western Australia, the eastern seaboard and the great northern states of Northern Territory and Queensland as well. So starting it off with the Emus, led by Nick Eads, the team wearing the blue jumpers today. Starting with number 1, Tyson Worthington from WA. Number 2, Lindsay Ashworth, also from WA. Number 3, Byron Mayo, who was the captain of the Northern Territory team at the National Inclusion Carnival. Hayden Cannon, number 4, a native Queenslander. Number 5, we've got Cam Gudgeon from New South Wales ACT. Number 6, Damo Clark, who got 3 goals to his name yesterday from Vic Metro. Number 7, Dylan Pace, a Tasmanian. Number 8, Jackson Reeves from Vic Country. Number 9, Brad Lawrence, another proud Queenslander here in his home state. We've got number 11, Dylan Evans, also a Queenslander. Number 12, our man from yesterday, Tim, Andrew Doki, the South Australian. Number 13, Yasser Shubalat, the big ruckman from Victoria. And number 19, to finish things off, James McKay from New South Wales.
And on the Kangaroos, the white jumpers, we have, led by Steve Reeves, we have number 1, Craig Buskey. Number 2, Alan Meeklem. Number 3, Sean Dole, who had an amazing game yesterday. Number 4, Harry Hunter. Number 5, Aaron Knight Nilsson. Up next we have number 6, Peter Puatimi. Number 7, Graydon Poulsen. What do we have next? Number 9, Michael Cook. Number 10, Dave Alford, dynamite up forward and laid a couple of goals off too. Number 11, Reece Baker. Number 12, Stephen Hall. Number 14, Travis Baxter. And rounding out the team, number 20, David Hallow. And the ball goes
As
up.
that man, David Hollows, taps it out of the ruck down, and Peter Puatimi, he was dynamic yesterday and already get that long kick into the forward line. Knocked forward from Travis Baxter. Stephen Hall gets it on the outside of the boot. It's dribbling towards goal, and I think just touched on the line there by number 11, Dylan Evans, who was impressive yesterday across half back.
My boy Mayo comes out to the far wing, but kicks it to his teammate. He's confused himself there. Puatimi comes back in on the inside.
Baxter couldn't quite reel it in and knocked forward by Cam Gudgeon there. Diving for the ball, players going in left, right and centre, clearing kick, and Dylan Pace is there at centre half back to reel it in. He goes wide to the wing on the left foot, puts it up in the air, and Dole takes a strong contested mark.
Lovely overhead mark there by Sean Dole. Picked up where he left off yesterday. Out to Puatimi on the 45. Leans back in, puts it up high. Back to the smallest guy in the field. Good contest against Shubalat.
Great.
Now comes Mayo out to the broadcast side. And we've got Damo Clark that'll pick it up on the far wing.
Damo just reached it long down the line. Lindsay Ashworth going back with the flight, taking a courageous mark there. Well done, Linz, or Hot Sauce as we like to call him. Oh, big
Duke! Oh, our boy, he's dropped it.
Donkey.
No,
The umpire's paid it.
he's paid it.
We'll take that every day of the week.
This is our boy. We've been riding him. And he lays it off nicely.
Great unselfish play. I think if the Kangaroos maybe need a little bit more of that unselfish play going forward themselves, and the big man there, Doki, just sharing it around with his teammates.
And we've got Cannon here to get the first goal of the game. Eagleham trying to put him off. Oh, he's pulled that a bit, and that's a minor score. So we're 1 point apiece here. And we have Mr. Poulsen coming out. I wonder how that toenail's going. We didn't hear many complaints last night, but looking at that kick, he must be feeling cherry ripe.
And Sean Dole going across the face of goal there to the half-back flank, and the human schnitzel
The human schnitzel.
on the outside of the boot to Peter Puatimi. The human schnitzel, we reckon he knocked off about 15 or 16 slices of snitter last night at dinner, provided by the wonderful volunteers at Yeronga Footy Club.
Well, we've got a 50-metre penalty here. Davey Hallows, he knows the rules. He's going to play on here. He's going to have a large punt. No one on the mark. Runs to the 40. Backs himself. Oh, he's misjudged it.
Touched on the line. The
Well
umpire
done.
in perfect position there, but
Well done,
big
Lyle.
Davey Hallows, he's one of the taller players out on the field, but he's got a bit of toe about him as well.
Oh, Baxter reads it well. Puatimi, that agility is something that we just don't see enough of in game, and it's great to see here. And he squares up Hallows. So I don't think he moved after that last kick, and it's worked out perfectly for him. So he's about 45 metres out on a slight angle.
It was a good, hard 20-metre sprint by the big man there, and I think just a bit of convenient positioning while he recovered from that last effort.
So we've got the big man, Shubalat, that's on the mark here. Get those arms up, big fella. Here we go. Oh, he's slid that off the side of the right boot. And Mayo, my boy, off he goes in the far wing. Takes one bounce. Looks
Great.
inside.
A great chase from the forwards there for the Kangaroos, but looks inboard and finds Tyson Worthington, who was fantastic off half-back yesterday. He goes out wide to Evans, gets a little chip forward, and that man Mayo is in the contest again, puts on a good shepherd for Dylan Pace there. Some good hard running from Mayo. As Evans is in perfect position to just chop off the clearing kick from the Kangaroos.
He's a smart player, Evans. He seems to just pick the right plays. Reads the ball really well, and perfect example there. Just
as Ashworth plays on, he goes to the pocket and finds. Is that Hayden?
there's two in the goal
Hayden
square
Cannon
here,
in
and
the
he didn't get
pocket.
back off the mark. Sorry to cut you off there, Scotty.
It might still work out for the Emus as the players come in. Some good voice coming from further up
Oh, and a bit of cherry picking out the back, but it's worked to the Emu's favour, and they take the first goal of the game. Lead
So-
1-1-7 to no goal to Kangaroos.
So some good persistent play in the forward line there. They worked it forward, got it moving quickly, and the Kangaroos did try hard to foil those attacks, but Lindsay Ashworth finishing with the crumbing goal. And Tim, we spoke a little bit about the global games yesterday, but the players here in the Inclusion All-Australian team were lucky enough to take part in the Inus Global Games Parade when we arrived on Saturday afternoon as part of the opening ceremony. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an amazing experience for the guys to march with 1,000 other athletes who participated in the Inus Global Games, and we had our accreditations on right behind the Australian team. It was something pretty special. We had the big band behind us that were pumping the tunes, and walked straight through the CBD of Brisbane, and there was just people out on the streets that were there supporting us. As Reeves goes up and just juggles the ball a bit there. Doki to Reeves, opens up, swings back, and just another minor score there. But good to see Reeves backing himself in that passage of play.
Some good strong play from the Emus working it forward with a few handballs and some pretty slick work from Dylan Pace on the half forward flank.
Smart play there by Dole to just let the ball come over the top to Apua Timmy.
He's got a man on, he chips the ball over the top where he finds
the human snitz.
Our man, the human schnitzel. As Alford doing some crumbing work there, the big fella.
And he's called a push in the back there. And Worthington will pump it into the guts here, and Damo Clark has got himself free. He can quickly go a hand pass over the top, and he does.
Some great link-up play there from the Emus. As Pace looks inside 50,
Reeves
positioned himself well and got to the front spot. Alan Meeklem perhaps just didn't read the ball as well in the air. But Reeves looks wide, and Damo Clark plays on and snaps and just pushed it wide.
Unlucky. Reeves is on today. That's a couple of little cheeky patches of play that he's had a score assist in now.
So I was about to launch into a big Tim Neild woo, but Damo Clark just missed the snap-on goal there.
Yeah, he's got to sink those ones to see if I can bring the old woo out. But David Hallows just pushes over Yass. Good bone-crunching tackle in there.
Gets it forward. Big Davey Hallows is an imposing figure out there on the field.
Mayo, little toe poke into the forward 50, picks it up, swings to his right, and great tackle there by, who's that? That's the human snitz.
He's everywhere
He's
today.
On. Those 15 snits have gotten all the energy he needs.
He's looking for those crumbs anywhere he can, the human snitter.
Brad Lyons going back into the flight of the ball and taps it out. Smart play. Goes again. He is a machine, old Lawrence.
Trav Baxter, look at the balance there as he turns inboard. Just fumbled a little bit, which gave Clark time to come in.
Ooh.
Good hard contest from Cook.
It's a little scrappy here.
And he's got the handball out wide to that man Baxter, who's found him. Oh, he did have a little bit of space, but another little fumble. And he was taken without the ball, so that'll be a free there to Trav Baxter.
Who kicked the goal of the day for me yesterday. Deep in the pocket and snapped in and came around nicely. They're going to go the switch here. The old Tuscan jumper, I've heard, that the switch of place, so it looks like they've kept with that from yesterday. I've just been pulled up by the coaches. Apparently it's a Tussock jumper, so my apologies. That's why I'm up in the commentary box and not down there with the super coaches.
Yeah, you've got to be better than that, Tim.
Oh, thanks, Scott.
As that Paulson, he works it forward again. Dribbles through the back. It's beat a couple of players, and the man at the back there is little Reese Baker. And he kicks truly. That's a goal.
And they're off. There we go. Drags it back.
So as we hit the 9-minute mark of this first term, it's the Kangaroos now with their first goal, 1-2-8, still trailing the Emus 1-3-9. So we did have an even game all throughout yesterday until about 3 or 4 minutes to go, where the Kangaroos just got a couple of late ones and managed to secure an 8 or 8-point win. But it was a fantastic close match.
It is. It's following a similar pattern to yesterday, isn't it, Scott? It's tight and another great display of footy. So let's see. There's only 30 seconds left on the clock here. Let's see if one of the teams can get a quick goal.
As Shubalat hits it to the back to Pace. Hollows collects and gets the handball out. Baxter might collect here at the back of the pack. He's working it forward. Still working it forward. The ball
Timmy,
spills
here he goes.
free, and if anyone's going to score in this situation, it's him as he pumps it long inside forward 50. Just goes to the right of goals and dribbles out of bounds, and I think that might be it for the quarter.
That'll do us. I think a little bit more composure in the second quarter. A little bit more. I'd like to see a little bit more composure in the second quarter from the boys, but there were a few sore bodies after game one. Plenty of rubs and ice after the game, but
We even had a few boys who jumped in the ice bath here at
we did.
AFL Queensland HQ. But as we leave it there for quarter time as the players make their way over to the huddle. It is a warm day here at Yeronga Oval, and it's the Kangaroos who trail the Emus 1-8 to the Emus 1-3-9 at the Inus Global Games AFL exhibition here with our Inclusion All Australian teams.